Okay, welcome everyone to this webinar on forest sciences textbook. This is a IUFRO organized webinar, and I'm so glad that there were more than 200 people registered to this meeting, and many of you are also participating. My name is Mika Rekola. I'm coming from the University of Helsinki, working here as a lecturer in forest economics. I used to be coordinator for research group 609 in forest education at IUFRO. What we are going to talk today is about, first of all, why. Why a new textbook? A little bit background and benchmarking some good forerunners, especially a particular textbook around economics. And then we will discuss a little bit about the structure of the textbook. What is the idea? And the table of content, very concretely. And finally, next steps. There are a few possibilities for you to participate. You can write on chat, and I will also run 3 polls during this webinar. So that's something because you are so many, we have no time to have a real discussion during this info session, this info webinar. Okay, let's move on. Why a new textbook? Okay, there are many reasons. I would say the first and the most important reason is the curriculum, core curriculum. We teachers, we should always be interested in what is it that our students really need to learn. What is that knowledge and which are those skills that they should manage when they enter the labor market. This is always the crucial, maybe the most crucial question. And we have do some standards here and there, some national standards, for example, but no that kind of a global understanding which are the elements which are common for all of us. And this is really something we have to think about. If I compare to, for example, to medicine, they have had for a long time these kind of standards. And I'm sure there are a lot of elements in forest sciences which are common, like photosynthesis, ecological processes, many inventory systems, ecosystem services, classification as such, and many wood and non-wood products. They are the same wherever we are. Of course, some tree species and some plants and flora and fauna in all, that's different from region to region. But I don't think it's not bad for students in North to learn something from forests in the South and vice versa. Economy. We all know how how biased is the publishing of science journals. The publishers, they are making huge profits. At the same time, we scientists, we teachers, we produce the papers, and this same phenomena is more or less going on with textbooks, and it's getting even worse. I have discussed with librarians, and they say that textbooks are going to be changed as a yearly based license. So you cannot buy a book forever, but to keep it, but you have to pay every year a license to read it. So this business model is maximizing the profits of the publishing companies, but it's not necessarily fair. Technology is changing a lot and rapidly. We all know, of course, all these um, uh, AI things, what's going on, but also, let's say, online systems have been already for some time being quite clever, so that they really assist students to learn. I will show you later on when I do the benchmarking. And finally, I would say the fourth point is the community. We have a great community. That's IUFRO plus many other networks. IUFRO is maybe one of the strongest among forest scientists, forest teachers as well. And this is the share of different divisions who were represented in the meeting registration. So silviculture was number one, and then social aspects following. So we have really diverse and very competent community. So we are able to do this if we just want to do it. Some background. A few years ago, I was involved in the project called Global Assessment of Forest Education, and some recommendations from that project were about the curriculum that forest education global core curriculum should be given some serious considerations. So this is something that could be useful for benchmarking and for practical development. So you have something that you can compare your own curriculum. So there are something that larger science community has accepted. And learning materials. This was for all levels from elementary school up to universities. Recommendation that easy to access and low to no cost non-commercial forest related learning materials should be available, and this is not always the case. Also, this same assessment was observing that there are like three most frequently used tools: communication and publication tools, geospatial tools and technology, net-based research tools, and there was a need for online platform. So that was seen moderately or very valuable. Most commonly used platforms were at that time, a few years ago, GFIS, Global Forest Information System, but that does not exist anymore. So FAO e-learning academy was the second. And how it looks like. Well, there are many useful topics in FAO e-learning academy. However, I would say that they are very hands-on practical instructions for professionals and very specific, like data management in national forest inventory. But I would say they are not optimum for, let's say, for university students, at least in bachelor level, where to start. And during the very same project that I mentioned, this assessment project, there was an idea to establish a platform for education. The project title was Creation of a Global Forest Education Platform and Launch and so on. So that was the first thing. And there was a pilot platform called Forestra. Unfortunately, that was pilot that was stopped after the project ended. Okay, so there seems to be need for online platform and some digital materials. Digital materials, why? Because they are scalable. Once they are created, they can be shared almost with no costs. They should be open access because of these economic reasons of this publishing business, and also because there are challenges now among universities and, of course, students. Co-creation. Using the modern tools, it's easy, or let's say it's possible to work together online and create this kind of a material, and also to do peer review like we have used in science. Well, let's have a look. One interesting benchmarking item, which is economics online textbook. I will demonstrate you this platform. This is the web page, how it looks like. There are many issues there, starting from ebooks and some instructions and so on. But I will only demonstrate now the first ebook that they published. I found this some 5 years ago, and I immediately switched my existing textbook, introduction textbook on economics, which was a traditional printed book, to this one. And why? Let's read it. The content is visualized here. It shows with some color codes some themes and capstone units. This is how it looks like, for example, if we take chapter 3.2, preferences. And as you see, the text starts, if Alexei has the production function shown in figure 3.5, how many hours per day will he choose to study? I think this was so cool, very close to students' own life. I think this is something that you cannot make it even more familiar case with the student. And beside the normal text, and they are graphs like this one, and they are dynamic. So that once you click the menu above, you will have more and more items in the figure. And this is how it finally looks like. I think I have found this very useful and illustrative for learning purposes. At the end of each section, there are some exercises and also some like test, multiple choice tests, like this question 3.4. And once you want to check your answers, the system automatically gives you some hints that what was it okay, or were there something wrong with your answer. And that's not all. The whole textbook was published in 7 languages. I was really happy to see also Suomi, that's Finnish language, and I have discussed with the professor who was leading the Finnish team, so they made the translation. Basically, today the translation is quite easy. You can use machine translation as a base, but then you have to do some revisions. And what they did was really nice, because the person in the example, which was the Alexei, they changed the name for a Finnish name, and they also made a very short story how this student, where he is living in a Finnish small city, and what he's doing during the leisure time. For example, he was keen on hiking in forests. So this is the book that I have used in my first year bachelor students to teach economics. Just part of this book, not the whole book. And students have been very happy with this. How this textbook might look like. Well, the content. Um, I think we should have an aim similar to this economy textbook that we have different language versions. If we want to make this a global project. So this is just a list, copy paste from this Core Econ. I guess these are all valid, but many other languages as well are welcome. Subject topics. I think we need text for sure, and we need dynamic tables and figures, similar what I just introduced to you. I think because our topic is forests, we definitely need some videos, and we need 360 images, probably. I will show you in a minute what I mean. Or augmented reality photos, illustrations. Assignments, yes, for sure. Something similar as we have seen, multiple choice with correct answers, and definitely guide for teachers. Why couldn't we have some field education instructions which are really typical for forest sciences, not like with any other sciences, or not very many sciences has these kind of teaching format. PowerPoints, they are there in this Econ Core. They have a set of PowerPoints for teachers and pedagogical instructions, tests and exams. Why not? And optional is that teachers could have a discussion together how you are using this and that topic, and what you think, is it working? Something like that. There are some collaborators. I have a tentative list here. I have been discussing with the Electric Book Works. That's the very company that is behind this economy textbook. So they are willing to cooperate with us. ThingLink is something which is producing augmented reality and 460 images. They are many of these kind of companies. Forum for Edu is a small startup which was a partner with the forest global assessment study. Let's move on. Subject topics, how we could make this table of content. That's a tricky issue where we should start. This is one way of doing it, just using IUFRO divisions. From silviculture up to forest policy and economics. Another way of doing this is, for example, what they have done in Grebner et al. Textbook, not based on science, but something like a practical. Oh, this is a mix of science and practical real life phenomena. By the way, I tried to figure out what is the cost for this book, and it is quite a lot, 80-90 US dollars, and the earlier version from Google, you can find 65 euros. But as you see, they are quite expensive. And these are traditional books. They have nothing that fancy that I have shown to you. Okay, let's have an example what I mean with this kind of a 360, or in this case, which I shall show, it's augmented reality. So we can show some practical like tools that forest lumberjacks, forest workers, they have. If you click these buttons, they will tell you more. This is augmented reality. So they will tell you more. What are those behind those red circles? For example, safety shoes. Okay. I think because forestry is also practical, and it's based on landscape that we know ecosystems. We need this kind of photos and more than just text and graphs, which were there in the economic textbook. What's going to happen next? So as I already mentioned, I have had a negotiation, tentative discussion with this the electronic book company. The name is Electric Book Works, and but there are others like Pressbook, Gitbook, LibreText, Wikibooks. I have made some analysis, and to my mind, they cannot compete with this electric book works. But let me know if you have experience on these other service providers that I mentioned here, or some other any other textbook providers. Electric Book Works, tentatively they say that the budget for making this kind of a book is something like 30,000 euros. This is very, very tentative budget. And they also say that it would be wise to produce first something. It could also be only one or two chapters, and then show those ready chapters for potential donors and institutions. And it's much easier to raise funding with this kind of system than having nothing but your plans. And I think that's the wise strategy. My idea is that why couldn't we have this book ready a year from now? Which means that we have to finalize the publisher in a way, and all these kind of agreements, something like a few months before that. And at that time, we should have also financial support decide. So that means that we should have at least manuscript ready before that. It's, as I mentioned, it's much easier to negotiate with donors and others if you have something to show what you are doing. And this means that we had to have our internal referee comments. Most likely, we don't need any other, which we decide by ourselves, because we don't use the commercial publishing company. So referee comments and maybe two drafts before that. And so that if we start next month, if we can make a decision on the table of content, and if there are people willing to take the lead, be a co-author, be a co-editor with me, and also write the text authors, I think we can make progress. We will have a next webinar. During that webinar, we will discuss. It's in October 9th. And before that, I will share you a draft syllabus. And it's online document. You can comment on it. And I'm also asking you to register it as an author or editor or a referee. So follow your email and have a nice day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Thanks a lot for this participation. See you.